Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our Srimad Bhagavatam overview class. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी नितिनामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, welcome everyone. We are discussing from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And in the last class, we discussed how Krishna, after killing Kuvalayapida, he entered the wrestling arena carrying the tusk of Kuvalayapida along with Balaram. And all the ladies and all the residents of Mathura who had assembled on the arena, they were astonished to see the beauty of Krishna. And everyone saw Krishna in different moods. And then Krishna, he started fighting, wrestling with Chanur. Balram started fighting with Mushtik, and ultimately they were killed. And then Shala, Toshala, Kut, they also came, they were also killed. And then Krishna, he jumped on to the dais where Kamsa was sitting, and he threw Kamsa on the wrestling mat. And he jumped on the chest of Kamsa, and just by pounding on his chest, Krishna killed Kamsa. And then following the killing of Kamsa, the brothers of Kamsa came. They also were killed by Balram. And all the other wrestlers, they ran away. All the other kings, they became fearful. All the kettle drums and the various heavenly instruments, they started, getting sounded. All the devatas, they were experiencing such joy because Kamsa was killed. Kamsa was a very, very powerful demon. And just the fact that he had controlled so many of the other demons, we can understand how powerful Kamsa was. And we also heard that when Krishna was dragging the body of Kamsa, the Kamsa's body was so very huge and so very hard that it created a canal. And Chakravarti Thakur writes that this is still existing, and it is known as Kamsa's canal. you know so that's how Kamsa was powerful. So that's what we discussed. And then after that, Krishna and Balram, they came to meet Vasudev and Devaki. But Vasudev and Devaki, they had just seen the display of power by Krishna and Balram. Extraordinary display of power. Although Krishna and Balram, they were 11 years old, but the way Krishna killed Kamsa in such a, he did not have to exert. In just a plaything, as a plaything, he killed Kamsa. Vasudeva and Devaki realized that Krishna is non different than Supreme Lord. They became full of awe and reverence. They stood there, folding their palms. and they were completely overwhelmed with majesty of the Lord. So that's what we discussed. So in this 45th chapter, which is entitled Krishna Rescue His Teacher's Son. So Shukdev Goswami, he tells that actually Krishna was not happy to see such change in the emotions of Nand, Devaki and Vasudeva. Pitara upalabdhartha viditva purushottamaha ma bhoditi nijam mayam tatana janmohinim. So Krishna was not so much happy to see such awe and reverence being displayed by his mother and father. He did not want this to happen. So therefore what he did, Tatan Janamohinim Nijmaya. He covered Vasudev and Devaki by his internal potency. Because Krishna wanted to enjoy the Vatsalya Rasa, he wanted to enjoy the ecstatic love of parenthood with Vasudev and Devaki as their father and mother. So Krishna, when he saw Vasudev and Devaki, they are behaving like my devotees, full of awe and reverence, it is not good. So Chakravarti Thakur writes that the word Jana Mohinim, it is significant. So Jana Mohini means that Maya which bewilders even the devotees. There is a Mahamaya and there is Yog Maya. So Mahamaya bewilders non-devotees and Yoga Maya bewilders devotees. That's how all the Brajvasis, they are not aware of the godhood of Krishna. They don't accept that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Although, on so many occasions, Krishna showed his supreme, uh, powerful nature by killing so many demons just by while playing, but they never accepted Krishna as the Supreme. At the most, they thought maybe he's empowered by Lord Narayan, you know, because many times they have seen, oh, Krishna cries. Krishna is hungry for food many times. He also steals butter. He also lies. How can he be the Supreme Lord? In this way, by his loving pastimes, sweet dealings, Krishna, he conquered the heart of all the Brajvasis. The supremacy of Krishna, it was covered by the love of the Brajvasis. Another meaning of Janmohini means that Maya which bewilders the Janak and Janani. Janak is Vasudeva and Janani is Devaki. So Krishna, he covered Vasudeva and Devaki by this Maya. And then Krishna came to the parents along with Balram, and they started speaking in such loving way, just trying to increase and arise the Vatsalya Bhav of Vasudeva and Devaki. Krishna says, "Oh dear father, you know, because of us you were in complete anxiety. Because of us, you had to undergo such pain and suffering. You could not enjoy our uh, boyhood, youth, and childhood. नास्मत्तो युवस्तात नित्योत्कण्ठयितुरपि बाल्यपौगण्डकैशोरा पुत्राभ्यामभवन् क्वचित्." So this is a very, very significant verse because Chakravarti Thakur writes an elaborate purport on this verse. What Krishna is telling? He's telling, oh my father, both of you could not enjoy our childhood, our boyhood and youth. So, one may object that actually Krishna had not passed Kaishora. Kaishora is the age between 10 and 15. And Krishna was just 10 years, 7 months old when he came to Mathura. So why Krishna is telling that, oh, you could not enjoy our boyhood, our childhood, boyhood and youth. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes an elaborate purport, solving this contradiction. He says that, generally for an ordinary child, he passes through various stages in life. Kaumar means up till 5 age. Paugand means 5 to 10. Kaishore means 11 to 15. And after that is Yavan, you know. So Krishna, he was beginning the Kaishore, because he was 10 years, 7 months old when he came to Mathura. But then why Krishna is telling that, you could not enjoy our Kaishore? It is interesting. So Chakravarti Thakur describes that actually these measurements are for ordinary people. Ordinary children, they go through these stages. But sometimes it is seen that, if there is a person who is son of a king, so even while the son of a king in his Paugand age, he develops exceptional physical growth and exhibits activities appropriate to Kaishore. So ordinary son of a king can display such features. What to speak of Krishna? And so many of the scriptures, they describe how Krishna, he was growing, out of the proportion of his age, normal age. So then, Chakravarti Thakur goes into the elaborate description, and Jiva Goswami also. They describe the elaborate description of the timeline of the various activities which Krishna did while he was in Vrindavan. So it will be the chronology. It is very interesting to see the chronology of events, while Krishna was there in Vrindavan. For 3 years, 4 months, Krishna was there in Mahavan, because Krishna, Vasudev, he brought Krishna to Mahavan first. So for Krishna, these 3 years and 4 months, they were equivalent to 5 years of an ordinary child. So generally, a child is at the age of Kaumar till 5 years of age. But Krishna completed Kaumar when he was 3 years, 4 months old. What all he did during these 3 years, 4 months? When he was just few days old, he killed Putana. At the age of 1 year, he killed Trinavarta. And then after that, when he was just beginning his 3rd year, Damodar Leela happened during the Kartik month. So in the 3rd year, Kartik month, Damodar Leela happened. And then in the 2nd year, Kartik month, Damodar Leela happened. And then after that, Nanda and Vasudeva, Nanda and all the cowherd boys, they moved from Gokul to Vrindavan. So from 3 year, 4 months to 6 year, 8 months, Krishna was staying in Vrindavan. And this constitutes the Pauganda age of Krishna. Generally a child he completes Pauganda at the age of 10. But Krishna, he completed his Pauganda when he was 6 years, 8 months old. Very interesting. So in the beginning of the 3rd year, he started tending calves. And while tending calves in Vrindavan, he killed Vatsasur, Bakasur, and Vyomasur. Just he was 3 years old when he killed all these demons. Vatsasur, Bakasur, Vyomasur, 3 years old child. And then when 3rd year was complete, and as he entered the 4th year, in the autumn of the 4th year, Brahmaji stole the calves. So before that, Aghasur Leela also happened 1 year before. So after that, just before that, so Brahma stole the calves and the cowherd boys just in the autumn of the 4th year. So then in the 4th year, he began herding the cows on the 8th day of the lunar moon in the Kartik month, lunar day of the waxing moon. That is celebrated as Gopashtami. Then in the summer of the 5th year, he subdued Kalia. And then in the 6th year, he performed so many pastimes, herding cows in Vrindavan. Then from the 6th year, 8 months to 10 year, 7 months, he was staying in Nandishwar or Nandigam or Nandagam. So they moved from Vrindavan to Nandagaon, and for these years, from 6 years, 8 months to 10 years, 7 months, they were staying in Nandagaon. And Krishna completed his Kaishora age when he was 10 years, 7 months. What all he did during these period? At the beginning of the 7th year, he entered Kaishora and he killed Dhenukasur. In the beginning of the 7th year, he killed Dhenukasur and he enjoyed eating all the tal fruits. And then the day he killed Dhenukasur, in that evening, gopis, they started showing first signs of love for Krishna. Then in the summer of the 7th year, Pralambasur was killed. And then after that, in the Ashwin month of the 7th year, he started playing his beautiful flute and he attracted all the gopis. During Kartik month of the 7th year, he lifted Govardhan. That's why all the Brajvasis, they tell, oh, Krishna is just 7 years old and he has lifted his entire Govardhan. They were astonished. They were talking about Krishna's wonderful pastimes. That happened in the Kartik of the 7th year. Then on the 11th day of Kartik, on the waxing moon, he was bathed by Indra and Surbhi and he was given the name Govinda. And then after that, on the 12th day, he went to the Varuna's kingdom and he rescued his father Nanda Maharaj. That's what we had. All these things we have discussed in great detail. So this event happened on the 12th day of the Kartik waxing moon. Then on the full moon day, all the Brajvasis, they started thinking, oh, Krishna is Supreme Lord, because Nanda Maharaj, he told that I went to Varuna Loka and Varuna Dev was offering respects and worship to Krishna. So all the Brajvasis, they started thinking, will we get liberation? Krishna is Supreme Lord. So just to show the Brajvasis their supreme position, on the full moon day, on the waxing moon on Kartik, Krishna submerged all the residents in the Brahma Radha and he showed them their supreme position, the supreme position of Vrindavan. And then during the winter season came and he stole the clothes of the gopis, Chir Haran Leela was performed. All this is happening in the 7th year. Then in the 8th year, summer, he gave mercy to the wives of the Brahmanas. Brahman Patnis, they were delivered. They were given mercy in the summer of the 8th year. And then in the 9th year, Krishna, he performed Ras dance. Ras Leela was performed in the Sharada Purnima of the 9th year. Then in the beginning of the 10th year, he went to Ambikavan. We discussed the story of how all the Brajvasis, they went to Ambikavan and they were worshipping Lord Shiva. So that happened in the beginning of the 10th year on the Shivaratri day, on the 14th lunar day. And then he killed Shankhachud in the Falgun sometime around the March. Then in the 10th year, 7th month, he killed Arishtasur on the full moon of the Chaitra. Then after that, on the 10th, on the 11th lunar day of the 7th month of the Chaitra, of the Falgun, Keshi was killed. So we had discussed that how when Keshi was killed, that morning, in the morning Keshi was killed, Akrura departed from Mathura to go to Brindavan on the same day. In the afternoon, Krishna killed Vyomasur. Akrura reached Brindavan on the 11th day, 11th lunar day. That was Ekadashi. And we discussed how, Akrura, although, you know, so on the Dwadashi day he reached there. And then Krishna, he left Brindavan and he came to Mathura on the 13th day. 14th day he killed Kamsa. So therefore, this whole period from you know 6th month, 8th year, 6th year, 8th month to 10th year, 7th month, that is the Kaishora period of Krishna. So that's why Krishna is telling to Devaki and Vasudev that, oh, you could not get our association, you could not get the enjoyment of being with us, you could not see our childhood, our boyhood, our youth. So therefore they say that deprived by the fate, they are speaking in such a uh, you know childish way, just to try to invoke the love of Devaki and Vasudev. They are telling, deprived by fate, because it is all arranged by fate, we could not enjoy with you. And actually, we suffered more because of separation from you. We could not get the happiness of the love of parents. Although Krishna and Balram, they were having the greatest happiness of the love of Nanda and Yashoda and Rohini, but still, just to invoke the feelings of love and affection, Krishna is speaking like all these things. And then Krishna, Krishna and Balram, they started glorifying the parents. What is the glory of a mother and a father? Sarvartha sambhavo deho janita poshito yatah na tayoryati nirvesham pitror martya satayusha. Sarvartha sambhavo deho. With this body, one can acquire all the goals of life. Sarvartha sambhava. And this body is very nicely cared for and maintained by the parents. The parents, they give the birth and the sustenance to this body. Therefore, na tayor yati nirvesham, there is no mortal man in this world who can repay the debt to his parents. Pitror martya shatayusha. Even if one serves the parents for 100 years, full lifetime, he cannot repay the debt. You know. At one place, Srila Prabhupada writes that that's a debt of a parent, that's a debt of a son, and similarly, there is a debt of the spiritual master. Spiritual master is teaching and giving the shelter, giving the Krishna Bhakti Lata beach. That debt is also non-repayable. यैरीदृशी भगवतो गतिरात्मवाद शृण्वन्ति ये अन्यविषया कुकथामतिघ्नि यास्ता श्रुतभगा निभिरात्र सारा तास्ता क्षिपन्त्य शरणेषु तमसुहन्तः. So यैरीदृशी भगवतो गतिरात्मवाद. If somebody gets a chance to hear Krishna Katha, but he is hearing other katha, Shrunvantiye Anya Vishaya Katha Matighni, he has lost his intelligence. He is like a person who has got the nectar and he is drinking poison. So, spiritual master, the saintly personalities, they give such a wonderful nectar of Krishna Katha. But if somebody tries to repay the debt, then they become Vinod Patram. They become the jokers. Nobody can even try to repay the debt of the spiritual teachers. So therefore, the debt of the teacher, the saintly personality, gurus, is much, much more, you know, than the debt of a parent. Because although, Krishna is glorifying the parents just to invoke the feeling of love and affection. यास्तयोरात्मज कल्प आत्मना च धनेन च वृत्तिं च दद्यातं प्रेत्य स्वमां संखादयन्ति. Very strongly now Krishna is speaking. He says, a son, although he is able to take care of the parents, but with his wealth, with his physical resources, if he fails to take care of the parents, you know what happens to that person? Swamamsam khadayantihi. After he dies, he is forced to eat his own flesh. That is the fate which is awaiting for such an ungrateful son. And then he says that elderly parents, chaste wife, young child, spiritual master, or anyone who neglects any Brahmana, they are considered to be dead, although they are breathing. So therefore, these personalities, they play a very, very important role in the life of a person. Parents, mother and father, chaste wife, and the teacher, spiritual master. So therefore, one should never be ungrateful to these personalities. किम तम सुखाराध्यम ऋजुभि अनन्य शरणैर्निभिर कृतज्ञ को न सेवेत दुराराध्यम साधुभि. It is described that only an ungrateful person, only a demoniac person, a wicked person will be ungrateful. Otherwise, nobody can be ungrateful towards the spiritual master's contribution. That's why Srila Prabhupada would always keep telling, that whatever I am, I have received from my spiritual master. When Srila Prabhupada was in America and in the beginning days, and then his health started deteriorating, he wanted to go back to India to recover. So, he told that I'm going to India. So one of the disciples, he told, Swamiji, now you are going to India. Can you please send some other person who can play your role in your absence? So Srila Prabhupada, he started crying tears and he said, my spiritual master saved me. My Guru Maharaj saved me. And I can never even think of such things about my Guru Maharaj. Then the disciples, they realized what is the importance of spiritual master in the life of a devotee. So therefore Krishna is telling, Mataram Pitram Vriddham Bharyam Sadhvim Sutam Shishum Gurum Vipram Prapannam Cha. Anybody who does not take care of these personalities, father, mother, children, spiritual master, brahmanas, do not respect them, they are considered to be dead. And then they say, actually, we have passed our days uselessly. Actually, we were away from you and we were in complete fear of Kamsa. Actually, we know Krishna and Balram, they were not fearful of anybody. Even when they came to Kamsa, they were happy and they were enjoying the fight. But just to invoke the feelings of affection, they are telling, oh, our mind was full of anxiety because of Kamsa, and therefore, we could not come to meet you. Ordinary child would be afraid of Kamsa. Krishna is never afraid of Kamsa. But just to, put his parents, Vasudeva and Devaki, in the Vatsalya Bhav, to evoke the paternal sympathy, they are speaking all these things. Then they tell, oh mother, oh father, please forgive us for not serving you. For all these years, we were not independent and we were under care of Krishna, our Nand Maharaj and Yashoda, and we were so very fearful of cruel hearted Kamsa. That's why we could not come and serve you. Please forgive us for all these things. So we can see that Krishna and Balram, they are so very nicely just speaking such nice words just to pacify and console Vasudeva and Devaki. The words have lots of power. The speech which we use that can you know soothe a person's heart, or it can create more wounds. It is described what are the qualities of a speech we should have. चारु चित्रपदं श्लक्ष्णं मृष्टं गूढ़म् अविक्लवं सर्वेषामुपकारार्थं तदा अनुवदन्निव. So it is described that Prithu Maharaj, when he was speaking to his citizens, he was having such a refined speech. Charu, it was pleasing to the heart. That is the main quality of a speech. It should be pleasing. That's what Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita also. Anudvegakaram vakyam. It should be non-agitating. Many times in the pretext of speaking a truth, we may speak such harsh words that can affect a person's and hurt a person's heart, you know, and it can, create lifelong wounds. So therefore, the word should be very, very pleasing. Charu, Chitrapadam. And another quality of the speech is it should be full of metaphorical arrangements. That's how the expert speakers and the scholars they speak, with full of metaphorical language and examples and analogy. Slakshanam, they should be having very clearly defined things. Slakshanam. Gudham, it should be meaningful. Aviklavam, without duplicity. Sarvesham upakarartham, it should be for the benefit of everyone. So therefore, Krishna, by his words, he is, giving such solace, such relief to Vasudeva and Devaki. So Shukdev Goswami says, in this way, Krishna was appearing as a human child with his words. He just overwhelmed the hearts of Vasudeva and Devaki. Iti maya manushyasya hare vishwatmano gira mohitavankam aropya parisvrajya patum mudam. Maya manushyasya. Krishna, he's not a human. He was behaving as a human. So by his internal potency, he covered Krishna, Vasudeva and Devaki by his paternal affection, and therefore, as a result, his parents, Vasudeva and Devaki, they immediately embraced Krishna and Balram and put them on their laps. They bound Vasudeva and Devaki by the ropes of affection. Vasudeva and Devaki started crying tears, and their throat was choked. They could not even speak because of that. You know. So actually, what was happening on the other side, as Krishna was reciprocating with Vasudeva and Devaki, Nanda Maharaj, he was also there. He was thinking, oh, my son is tired because he has fought with Kamsa, Chanur, and all the other wrestlers. So therefore, he has gone to the inner chambers to retire and rest. And Vasudeva and Devaki, they are taking such nice care of my son. It is very good because they have such intense love and affection for Krishna. They will take care of my son properly. And now there is no fear because Kamsa is gone. So therefore, let me go to my room. So Nanda Maharaj also departed and went to his room, and he was taking rest without any anxiety. You know. And then after that, what happened? Krishna, after pacifying Devaki and Vasudev, he installed Ugrasena, his maternal grandfather, as the king. And although Ugrasena, he was not a very, very powerful personality, but Krishna wanted to put Ugrasena as the king because he wants to glorify his devotees. Krishna is not conquered by any of the external qualities. व्याधस्या चरणं ध्रुवस्य च वयो विद्या गजेन्द्रस्य का कुब्जाया किमु नाम रूपधिकं किं तत्सुदाम्नो धनम् वंशस्को विदुरस्य यादवपते उग्रस्य किं पौरुषम् भक्त्या तुष्यति केवलं न च गुणै भक्तिप्रियो माधव. It is described what was the dharma of that hunter. Vyadasya charanam. What was the behavior of a hunter who was killing animals? There is a story of Dharma Vyad described in Mahabharata. He was a great devotee of Krishna. Vyadasya charanam dhruvasya chavaya. What was the age of Dhruva? He was just 5 years old boy. Vidya Gajendrasya ka. What was the knowledge Gajendra had? He was an animal. He himself prays that I am bound in the animal body which is covered with ignorance. Jiji vishenaham iha muya kim mantar bahishcha vritaye vayonaya. Oh, I am covered in this animal body, and this body is full of ignorance. What was the knowledge of Gajendra? Gajendra had no knowledge. व्याधस्या चरणं ध्रुवस्य च वयो विद्या गजेन्द्रस्य का कुब्जाया किमुनाम रूपधिकम. अरे what was the beauty of Kubja? She was a hunchbacked, ugly lady. Kim tat sudamno dhanam. What was the wealth of Sudama? He came with few palmfuls of chipped rice. Kim tat sudamno vamshasko vidurasya. Are what was the caste of Vidura? He was born of a maid servant. Are Ugrasya Kim Paurusham, what was the strength of Ugrasena? He was an invalid, he was not a very powerful personality, he was a very old person. Bhaktya Tushyati Kevalam Nachagunai. Bhakti Priyo Madhava. Krishna is pleased by devotion. And that is the consciousness of Krishna. It is very interesting that when we see the consciousness of Krishna, will be attracted to him. That is the ultimate purpose of Krishna consciousness, to be conscious of the consciousness of Krishna. That attracts the heart much more, you know. So therefore, although Ugrasen, he was not a very powerful king, but still Krishna installed Ugrasen as the king because Krishna wants to give fame and credit to his devotees, you know. So this shloka comes in Padyavali. So Mataji is asking. So therefore, Krishna, he wants to give pleasure to his devotees, credit to his devotees, fame to his devotees. You know, Krishna is Sarva Saundarya Sangraham. And the most beautiful aspect of this is Krishna likes to give credit to his devotees. That is the ultimate essence of the beauty of Krishna, Sarva Saundarya Sangraham. And on top of that, you know, Krishna is telling Ugrasen that, O king, we are your servants, we are at your command. Although because of the curse of Yayati, no Yadu may sit on the royal throne, but you please sit. Somebody may ask, how is it possible? Ugrasen is also a Yadu. But if Krishna desires and tells something, all the other, you know, curses don't work. Just like when Daksha, he cursed Narad Muni that you will not be able to stay at one place. But when Narada came to Vrindavan, he could stay at one place. And therefore, that place in Vrindavan, he wrote Narada Pancharatra. So that is the beauty of Krishna. Krishna likes to give credit to his devotees. And then he said that, as you know, now you are a king, so I am your subordinate, and as I am present now in your royal assembly, none of the devatas can even do anything. All the devatas and their associates, they are coming and bowing their heads to you. What to speak of the rulers of this earth? So that's the power of Krishna. Even devatas were bowing down in front of Krishna, you know. So therefore, Krishna, he is so very humble that he becomes conquered by his devotees. The same thing we can see in the life of Pandavas, because Pandavas were malleable to the will of Krishna. Krishna was ready to do anything for Pandavas. सारथ्य पार्षद सेवन सख्य दौत्य वीरासनानुगमना स्तवना प्रणामान् स्निग्धेषु पाण्डुषु जगत्प्रणतिं च विष्णो भक्तिं करोति नृपतिश्चरणारविन्दे. So because the Pandavas were intensely attached to Krishna, they were pure devotees of Krishna. Krishna was doing everything. He was becoming their chariot driver. He was their constant companion. He was their messenger. He was their worshipable Lord. Everything. That's how Krishna is. Bhakta Vatsal. He is ready to do anything for his devotees. So then, after installing Ugrasen on the throne of Mathura, he brought all the various relatives, back to Mathura because of the fear of Kamsa. So many of the relatives, of Krishna, they had gone to various locations. So Krishna now he called all the Yadus back. So it is described that there are 8 classes of Yadus. So all the Bhoja dynasty, it was divided into 8 groups. All the Yadu dynasty, it was divided into 8 groups. Primarily Yadus, Vrishnis, Andhakas, Satvatas, Madhus, Dasharha, Kukura, and Bhoja. These were the 8 dynasties of Yadus. And apart from Bhoja and Yadus, everybody had gone to various places. But Bhojas and the Satvatas, basically under Yadus, they were serving with Akrura. They were serving Kamsa. All the other had gone to various locations. So Krishna, he brought all of them, and he actually he sent beautifully decorated chariots to bring all these relatives. And they became so very happy. When they arrived, Krishna welcomed them. He gave them lots of gifts and ornaments and jewels. Also, Krishna brought Rohini from Braja, because Rohini Devi was the only one, you know, apart from Krishna and Balram, Rohini came from Braja. None of the other residents came from Vrindavan to Mathura. Only Rohini came. So therefore, after bringing all the residents, all the relatives back to Mathura, Krishna and Balram, they protected all the Yadu dynasty and all the residents. They lived happily, drinking the beauty of Krishna, as was predicted by the gopis. So as Krishna was leaving Vrindavan, all the gopis, they were telling, "Oh, Gopyo Mukunda Vigame Viraha Turava." Gopis were in separation and they were thinking, "Oh, now we are so very disturbed and anxiety, full of anxiety, but the Mathura Vasis will enjoy the nectar of Krishna." Vikshanto har prita mukunda vadanambujam nityam pramoditam Srimat Sadaya Smita Vikshanam. Shukdev Goswami says, therefore, every day Mathura Vasis, they were getting a chance to have darshan of Mukunda Vadanambujam. They were getting a chance to have the darshan of the beautiful lotus face of Krishna. Nityam nirikshamananam yadapi dwarakaukasam na nivitripyanti hidrisham shriyo dhamangamachutam. Although the residents of Mathura and Dwarka, they were having darshan of Krishna every day, but still they were not satisfied. Shriyo Dhamangam Achyutam, because Krishna is the abode of all beauty. Why we are not getting attracted to Krishna's name, form, pastimes? We may be attracted, but our attraction does not last long. Suddenly we can get attracted to the things of the world, the glamour of the world may also attract our attention. We may get distracted because our desire is still not strong and our anarthas are still there in the heart. So by the process of hearing and chanting, slowly this anarthas will go. What we have to do? We don't have to do anything else. Just continue chanting, continue hearing, that's all. With patience, with enthusiasm. Utsaha, Nishchay and Dhairya. If we practice these principles in our lives and continue practicing Krishna consciousness, for sure, you know, we will also develop some attraction for Krishna Katha, Krishna Nam, Krishna Kirtan. Srinvata Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridayantastho Hyabhadrani Vidhunoti Suritsatam. All the contamination which is there in the heart gets cleansed off when we hear Krishna Katha regularly, when we chant attentively. It is described that two things are very, very potent to evoke Krishna Prem: attentive chanting of the holy names and hearing of the 10th canto, Dasham Skandha Shravan. Chanting and the pastimes of Krishna, they are fully potent to increase and evoke the love of God, which is there in the heart of everyone. So therefore, because these, one interesting thing, Shukdev Goswami speaks. He says that because the residents of Mathura, they were drinking the beauty of Krishna. It was a nectar. And anybody who drinks nectar, they never grow old. So all the residents of Mathura, although they were elderly also, some of them, but they were looking young always. They never grow, they never grew old. It is described about Uddhava in the third canto that even though when Uddhava was in the last stage, just before going to Badrika Ashram, when he went to Prabhas and he was in complete separation from Krishna, but still he was not old. Although he was 125 years old, but still he was not looking old because he was drinking the nectar of Krishna's remembrance. So Krishna's name, Krishna's form, Krishna's pastimes, they are non different from Krishna. So the Dwarkavasis, the Mathuravasis, they were having direct darshan of Krishna and they were always young. Similarly, even if Krishna is not present personally, those who can take shelter of Krishna Katha, Krishna Nam, Krishna Kirtan, they will never grow old. Externally, they may grow old, but their desire to serve Krishna will become more and more young. The more they bathe the consciousness with Krishna Nam, Krishna Kirtan, they will become younger and younger. That's why it is said that with every rising and setting of the sun, the life of a materialist is decreasing. Ayur harti vaipumsa mudyam astanchayannasau tasyarte ashanau nita uttama shloka vartaya. But the life of a devotee is not decreasing. He is becoming younger because he is drinking the nectar of Krishna Katha. And then, Krishna and Balram, after doing all these arrangements, Nanda Maharaj was still there. Krishna and Balram went to Nanda Maharaj. And as soon as Nanda Maharaj saw Krishna and Balram, he embraced both of them. And then Krishna and Balram said, Pitar yuvabhyam snigdhabhyam poshito lalito bhrisham pitrorabhyadika pritir atmajeshvatma atmanopihi. He says, O father, you and Mother Yashoda, you have snigdhabhyam, you have very affectionately, you have taken care of us. You have maintained us, you have cared for us so much. Actually, parents, they love their children more than themselves. Actually, Chakravarti Thakur writes that first Balram is speaking because he is elder, so he is speaking. So he's saying, Father, we were cared for so nicely by both of you. Although, I am not your son, I am son of Vasudeva and Rohini, but you took care of me so nicely that, for me, you are, Nanda and Yashoda, and you are much more than my real father and mother. That's how Balram is completely, drowning Nand Maharaj in parental love. Nand Maharaj may say that, "Oh Balbhadra, oh Balram, you are not my legitimate son. You are son of my friend Vasudev. So therefore, if you come with me to Brindavan, your father will become so very sad. So therefore, you please stay with your father, you know. And we two of us will go in separation from you, will somehow sustain our life." Because Nanda Maharaj was not aware that now Krishna is not going back. So Nanda Maharaj is thinking, he is telling that myself and Krishna will go to Brindavan, but you should stay with Vasudev. Because for 11 years he has not got association of his children, and now if I take you also, he will consider that I am also another Kamsa. I am taking his son away. So expecting this response, Balramji says, Sapita sacha janani yo yo pushnitam saputravat shishun bandhubir utrishtan akalpai posharakshane. He's telling, Balramji is telling that actually the person who takes care of children, that person is a real mother and father. You have taken care of us so very nicely, therefore you are our real mother and father. Children who are abandoned by their real parents, they don't remain the children of that parents, but the parents, mother and father, who maintain the children, that is the real mother and father. So that's how Balramji is telling. Actually, what Balramji wants to tell is that you are my real mother and father, and I will not be able to stay here with Vasudev. But if you want me to stay here, allow Krishna to stay with me. If you take Krishna with you, I will not be able to sustain my life. I will die. Expecting such words from Balram, Nand Maharaj may say, "Arey, what I am to do? What should I do now? If I take Balram to Braja, then Vasudev will never forgive me." So Nanda, in this way, he was completely confused. He was lost in thoughts. Seeing such condition of Nanda Maharaj, Balram tells, "So therefore, please go to Braja, and myself and Krishna will come later. We'll give some happiness to our friends here, and then we will come." Actually, Krishna is speaking these words. He's telling, myself and Balram, we will come later. You all go back to Braja. So in this way, Nanda Maharaj, when he heard this, he was completely devastated, feeling impending separation from Krishna. Somehow Krishna consoled Nand Maharaj, and then he gave lots of gifts and cloths and jewelry and everything. But Nand Maharaj was just immersed in the thoughts of Krishna, being overwhelmed with separation, feelings of separation, his eyes full of tears. He returned back to Braja. Then, now Vasudev, now he had to take care of all the ceremonies. Initially, he sent Gargacharya to do the name giving ceremony, but after that, nothing happened. You know, and now Krishna returned. So he performed the second initiation ceremony. He called Gargacharya, and Gargacharya initiated. He did Upanayam Samskar for Krishna and Balram. And then, if you remember, when Krishna took birth, Vasudeva had given charity of thousands and thousands of cows in the mind, because Vasudeva had a huge Goshala, and in mind he donated all those cows. But actually, what had happened? Kamsa, he had stolen all those cows, and those cows were in the Goshala of Kamsa. So now now Vasudev, he went to the Goshala of Kamsa, he brought those cows and actually gave them in charity. So then after that, uh, Supreme Lord Krishna and Balram, they took the vow of celibacy. And although Supreme Lord is omniscient, he is the supreme source of all the knowledge. But just to show the right example for everybody, they went to take knowledge from Sandipani Muni. They approached Sandipani Muni and accepted him as their spiritual master. Sandipani Muni, when he saw the Supreme Lords directly coming, he was so very satisfied to have them as their disciples. And therefore, with full heart, full of love, he taught them all the Vedic sciences. He told them six types of philosophies and all the corollaries. He taught them Dhanurveda. He taught them principles of dharma, logic, and sixfold science of politics. And Chakravarti Thakur writes, what are the six sciences of politics which Sandipani Muni taught to Krishna and Balram? And Krishna and Balram, who are themselves the original source of all the various types of knowledge, various skills, arts, which is what is there, whatever is there in this material world, everything is coming from Krishna. But just to, just as an ordinary child, he learned all that. Just by hearing once, he learned all the arts. He learned 64 arts in 64 days. And Srila Prabhupada in Krishna book, it describes in detail what were the 64 arts Krishna learnt. They are very amusing arts. Krishna, he learned how to paint, how to sing, how to dance, how to make decorations on the face, how to do metallurgy and everything. 64 arts he learned. And then after the education was over, so it was the time to give Guru Dakshina. So Sandipani Muni, he knew the power of Krishna and Balram. He knew their extraordinary intelligence and the power. He knew them to be supreme lords. So he consulted his wife, because Krishna and Balram, they came and they pleaded, "Oh teacher, what should we give in Dakshina?" So Sandipani Muni, he consulted with his wife and he came back and said, "We had a son. One day he went to take bath in Prabhas, and when he was taking bath in the ocean there, he was killed by Shankhasur. He was swallowed by the demon in the form of conch. Please, if possible, can you bring that son back?" So Krishna, what is impossible for him? He said, "So be it." And immediately he went to the Prabhas. He mounted his chariot, and Krishna and Balram, they immediately reached that ocean, and they approached sun god, approached ocean god. They offered tributes to ocean god and told them. Krishna addressed ocean god. He said, "Let the son of my guru be presented here at once. One time you seized him when he came and took bath in you. He should be presented now." Ocean god immediately he folded his hands and he said, "Actually, I did not abduct him. There was a demon called Shankhasur in the form of a conch. His name is Panchajanya. He swallowed you, the son of your guru." Understanding this, Krishna, he immediately, because Krishna and Balram, they were there on the chariot. So Krishna told Balram, "You be there on the chariot." And he dived in the ocean. He found that demon. He killed that demon. He entered, but he could not find the son of his guru in the body of the demon. Actually, Krishna was thinking, even if I could find the bones of my guru's son, I will revive him back. But he could not find even the bones also. So in this way, he was thinking what to do now. Chakravarti Thakur describes that This conch shell is actually the eternal companion of Krishna, Panchajanya. As it comes in Bhagavad Gita, Panchajanyam Rishikesho Devadattam Dhananjaya. So conch is the eternal companion of Krishna. So just like Jay and Vijay, they appeared as asuras to perform some pastimes. The conch of Krishna also appeared in the form of this demon. And in this way, after killing this demon, Krishna, he took the body of this demon, which was there in the form of a conch. So now, after he did not find this son, he went right up to the city of Yamraj, Samyamani. Samyamani is a city of Yamraj, who is a god of death. And when he reached that place, he blew his conch shell very loudly. And when Yamraj and all the associates of Yamraj, they heard the conch of Krishna, they immediately came out. Yamraj offered his obeisances because Yamraj is Mahajan. He understood, oh, he is Supreme Lord who has come in front. Immediately he offered his obeisances and he said, O Lord Vishnu, O Supreme Lord, please accept my obeisances. I know that you are performing pastimes in the form of a human. Please tell us, what can I do for you? How can I serve you? And then he elaborately worshipped the Lord, presented so many of the things with great devotion. It is described in Skanda Puran, in the Avanti Khand. When Krishna he went and he blew his conch, what was the effect of the sound of conch? Because Yamaraj is staying in Samyamani, and Samyamani has two parts. There is a hell and there is an administrative region where the palace and all the other things are there, where Yamaraj is staying with his associates. So in the hell there are various types of hell. There is a hell called Asipatravan. In the Asipatravan there are trees full of sharp leaves, and the person who has performed a particular type of sin, he's thrown on those leaves and he's then pulled down. His body completely gets torn apart. That is Asipatravan. There is a hell called Raurav. In the Raurav there is a beast called Ruru. That beast plucks out the eyes of a person. There is a hell called Kumbhipak, in which the sinner is fried in the oil. Cooking is going on always. So when Krishna reached those hells, the sharp leaves, they lost their sharpness. Ruru beast, they you know uh, they disappeared from the Raurava hell, and in the Kumbhipak hell, the cooking stopped. And it is described that just by hearing the transcendental sound of Krishna's conch shell, all the sinners who are being punished in hell, they got delivered from all their sinful reactions and they were liberated. They went to the spiritual world. Papakshaya tatas sarve mukta naraka narah padam avyayam asadya. They went to the padam avyaya. So when Yamraj was approached in this way, Supreme Lord, he told, please bring the son of my spiritual master, who had come here because of his karma. By some karma he had come here, but I desire that you please bring him now. So if Supreme Lord wants something, who can say no? Yamraj said, yes, my lord, so be it. Immediately he brought his guru's son. And then Krishna and Balram, they took the son and back. They went to Sandipani Muni and they gave the son to his spiritual master. And then they asked, please select another boon. So one boon they fulfilled. So Krishna and Balram is telling, please select another boon. So Sandipani Muni, after getting his son back, he was so very satisfied and overwhelmed. He said, oh my lord, I am completely satisfied. With you as our disciple, what else do we need? There are no desires to be fulfilled. Now you please go back and return to your home, and we bless you that your fame will purify the whole world. May you always remember the Vedic hymns, the Vedic knowledge may always stay fresh in your memory. Please go back. So after taking blessings from his guru Krishna and Balram, they returned to the city of Mathura, and all the residents of Mathura who were in intense separation because Krishna was not there for so many days. When they saw Krishna, it was as if a dead person gets his life back. They are so very happy and satisfied. So this is the end of the chapter. We'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Krishna Bhagavan ki jai.